Are you ready? Yeah, sometimes I wonder what I'm going to say. I just wanted, before I start, talk about two books, and they've been wonderful guides for me, and much of what I'm sharing with you today is based on the teachings in these books. One is Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping. Well worth the read, and it's an easy read. Not so easy if you really do the work he suggests, okay, because forgiveness work is not always easy. And the other one, and that's the title of my lesson this morning, is Why is this happening to me again? And this is by Dr. Michael Rice, who is an amazing soul. He and his wife Jeannie have a ministry, and you can find them at whyagain.org. And so when I'm finished, perhaps you'll want to do a little bit more investigation. Okay? Now we're going to start. Have you ever wondered, why is this happening to me again? Why is every relationship the same? And are loving relationships even possible? Or is wealth even possible? Or is good health, vibrant health even possible? And again, back to, why is this happening to me again? As Barry said, and again, and again. I hear a lot of response out there, so I think I'm striking a chord. Now, these are common complaints. And if you're not doing it, you know somebody who is. And it's always accompanied by a host of painful emotions. I've never heard anybody say, why is this happening to me again, when they're experiencing prosperity or vibrant health or loving and wonderful relationships. Ever notice that? No, we go into, when there's pain. And there's bewilderment. Bewilderment. Why? Why me? And then there's the next moment, you find the culprit that is responsible for the pain. I'm seeing that a lot in this country right now. People are in pain and they're looking for the culprit. They go into victimhood and then it's somebody else's fault. And there's a lot of finger pointing. Remember, with finger pointing, you have one going out and three pointing back at you. And sometimes your thumb is up as an exclamation point. You know, and the conversation. If only you would change, I wouldn't have to leave. If only you would change, I wouldn't want you to leave. That took a minute, didn't it? You know, both parties in their confusion are asking the same questions and they reach the same conclusions. I'm right, you're wrong, it's settled. Why argue? I just love people, don't you? Yes. And it's, as I mentioned, we're experiencing that in this country right now, we're experiencing that in the world. Why is this happening to me again? And why is history repeating itself? Yeah, and why is this happening to me again? This can be anything, right? It could be failed relationships, abusive relationship, job losses, chronic health problems, disease, robberies, shootings, legislation we don't like, legislators we don't like. military conflicts, devastating forest fires, and on and on and on. Are we getting depressed yet? It could get that way, because do you ever wonder, is there hope for us humans? What do you think? All right, come on, so unity, community. Do you think there's hope? Yes. Yes, always. And there's promise also for us mortals. I almost said mere mortals, and then I realized, no, we are powerful mortals. There's nothing mere about us. And when we're finally able to see and to understand that we have this power, and to see and understand, really, in this pain, something is wanting to come up to be healed. And the longer we resist it, the louder it's going to scream. Whether it is the relationships that get more and more toxic, even if you change to a new person, it goes toxic. Even if it's a health issue, it's coming up, it wants to be healed. And if we refuse to listen to that pain, that is truly a gift, then our health is going to suffer.
But it's someone else's fault.
It's someone else's fault, exactly. I love it when you participate, thank you. Okay, so when this then that causes us discomfort or stress happens again and again and again, it wants our attention, pure and simple. And I was preparing the lesson for this morning. I was thinking, these people know all of this. I'm just telling you everything you know. But something in me came through and said, this must be spoken about and to this morning. And I don't know why. So I'm affirming that it is touching a chord in you that will resonate and perhaps transform an experience you're going through right now. And it's worse when, as you were saying, we blame someone else. You know, it's their fault. They did it to me. You know, and especially when we blame someone else for our negative and constrictive emotions, it's their fault that I'm depressed. Wouldn't you be depressed if you had to deal with that person all the time? It's easy, so easy to look to the outer for responsibility rather than to look to the inner, at least initially. Because I know many of you have been doing this work for a while, right? And I don't know about you, I've had my dark nights of the soul where I was wondering if I was going to get through. You know, that feeling that the light at the end of the tunnel is a train coming at me. And yet, whatever it was that was coming up, what was on the other side was more important to me. Finally. Because I went through many years of kind of oblivious and not recognizing that I was part of the solution. I was the solution. You know, it's interesting. Something can happen over and over again, and it's always someone else's fault. And even though it's different individuals each time, I'll go to dating as an example. That's the easy one. And then to realize, well, I've dated all these men, or I've dated all these women, and what's wrong with them? And then to realize the only common factor is you. Ow. You know, so and going through any experience, you know, each party has their own truth. The same facts. I mean, if you've heard the stories of, you know, children growing up together and sitting around the same dinner table and each having a different experience of the conversation. And I knew someone once, and she said, you know, it was my sister and I, we have such different memories. Because our father would ask us questions at dinner. And I loved it because it got my brain stimulated and I had to think differently, and it was wonderful. It was exciting for me. But my sister hated it. She thought he was being abusive and he was putting us down. Same facts, different filters, different experiences. And we created truth that this is the way it is. So there's a discernment process of how to identify what really are the facts. And again, looking at our country, how many people are making it up and they keep saying it over and over again until people say, well, yes, that's the truth. And you can say, but here's the evidence that's not true. Here are the facts. And they'll say, well, no, I don't care. That's wrong. And so you go through the angst. We go through the pain. We are just so wonderful in our human experience. So we get into a confused mind. Dr. Michael Rice calls, and he's the authority of why is it happening to me again. He talks about the blockage of truth, which is a state in which one is locked into and can only see error. So you're locked into that mindset where all you can see is what's not true. Anybody ever done A Course in Miracles at all? Or at least the first couple lessons? Yeah, good. You'll know what I'm talking about then. The first lessons, I'm studying it, and I'm like, really? Because they'll be going, that's not real. This pen is not real. That chair is not real. And that's one of the first lessons, right? And at first I thought, okay, is this real? But then to see that we are really energy, and these physical objects are congealed energy. I mean, we made it up. We are so good. So when we go into this pain response and the self-imposed dis-ease, it blocks the truth. And we're unable to see underneath. So, as you're saying, when we're in this pain, the guilty party is usually someone else. There, he just pointed at you. Okay. So how do we break this cycle? What was that? Positive thinking?
Taking personal responsibility.
Thank you. Wow. Anybody else? I didn't hear that.
Oh, A Course in Miracles.
Course in Miracles, there you go. Well, Carl Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. You know, when somebody outside of you is upsetting, yeah, it's like, oh darn, I have to look in the mirror again. You know, understanding, what a unique concept. Everything that irritates us about others can lead to us to an understanding of ourselves. So basically, understanding is making sense of facts and forming connections between them. But first we must recognize what the facts actually are. And that can be a challenge sometimes. And that's the going within, the introspection. I get so excited I trip over my words. You notice that? So in his book, Radical Forgiveness, Charlie Tipping talks about a visit from his sister. And she was thinking of breaking up with her husband. She was in so much pain. And he started asking her questions, because he was already working heavily in the forgiveness arena. Now, they had had the same father growing up, but they had had a different experience. To her, the father was unavailable and not loving. And the mother explained that, well, your father just isn't capable of showing love the way you want it. And finally, she accepted that as the truth. But what happened was, when Colin's daughter was born, and their dad came over to visit, his sister witnessed her father respond to Colin's daughter with joy and with love, and would play with her and let the little girl lead him out by his hand to show him what she was building out in the yard and so on. So she went back into, well, I'm not worthy to be loved. So even though she had started to heal it, because, well, if he can't love, then it's not me. But then it was, oh my goodness, it's me, I'm not worthy. So her first husband cheated on her many times. She got a divorce. And this was her second husband. And he was not available for her emotionally. He was spending more time with his daughter from the first marriage, his grown daughter. And so she was visiting her brother, Colin, and all of this came out. And finally he was asking her questions about her memories. And through the questions and much crying, it was so wrenching on her part, she was able to see that in both of her marriages, she was showing up as not worthy. And her husbands were giving her the gift to bring up the memories, to heal the relationship with the father. And it took her a while to see that, the first husband that cheated on her many times, including her best friend. Really? Who does that? Obviously her husband. But each time it was to give her the opportunity to see the pain that had been lying dormant within her, to heal it. So she started to recognize what was happening. So she was setting it up again with her second husband. I'm not worthy. So he was out paying attention to his grown daughter, not to her. And it's like, oh, I have work to do. And she went home, and she told her husband, she says, I can't tell you what my experience was. I just want you to know that I'm working on something, and I can talk to you when I've worked through it. And so she started to do her own inner healing, her own forgiveness work, not only of her husbands and her father, but of herself. And it transformed the marriage. So it was, going through that painful process, because it became more important to her to work through it, to save this second marriage, and not to repeat the pattern again and again and again. So Dr. Michael Rice tells us, there is joy and aliveness beyond pain, and there are ways to heal the need to struggle. The primary requirement for healing is the ability to admit, if I'm in pain, I'm in error. Ow. Now, this admission does not mean that the other person is freed of responsibility for their actions. It simply means the person brave enough to take responsibility and power over their lives. Oh, there it is. It simply gives the person brave enough to take responsibility and power over their own lives. So responsibility, interpreted through a mindset of victimhood, it tends to look like guilt, fault, and blame. It's someone else's fault. It's your fault. And that doesn't help anyone, and it's a totally invalid concept. But we need to be willing to do the work.
Can't we just have someone else do it for us?
Pardon?
Can't we just have someone else do the work for us?
You know, I tried that. It doesn't work. And for those of you watching, can't you just get someone else to do the work for us? He goes, heck no. All right, so it's scary. But as Madame Marie Curie once said, nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. So understanding, again, what a unique concept. And it's the invitation to go within. The Apostle Paul said in Romans 12:2, and it's one of my favorite quotes, "Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." The renewing of your mind. And that's what we must do. So you renew your mind, healing begins. When you tell the truth, you begin to heal. And that's what makes the impossible achievable. So I've talked for 20 minutes. I have my timer here. Let's take a few moments and go into meditation to make it personal for each of you. Because it's easy to say, yeah, you got to go within, you got to do this work. But let's do some of that work right now. So I invite you to sit back comfortably in your chair. Stay grounded. Breathing deeply, breathing in the light and the love that is God. Closing your eyes, your outer eyes, so that your inner eyes can more clearly see. And as you breathe in, that life-giving oxygen, that aliveness that is ours to claim every moment. Imagine it bringing healing to your body, to your thoughts and emotions, and to your spirit. Let's continue to release with every exhale. Remembering that your thoughts are the output of your mind, and the realities from your mind reflect the energies held in your body. So let us release with every exhale. And again, breathing in light and love, breathing in joy, then releasing any stress, any dis-ease in mind, body, or spirit. And if there is something that is bothering you right now, that is causing a dis-ease, a discomfort, say to yourself, first, identify what the feeling is that's coming up for you. What is the pain? Is it sadness? Is it anger? Is it regret? Grieving? Blame? Feeling disconnected and alone? So let's identify it and say for yourself, affirm to yourself, I totally release from my life and body all feelings of. Identify that feeling. I totally release from my life and body all feelings of. That brought up those feelings? Is it something like life hurts, no one loves me, I'll never make it? And then affirm to yourself how to identify what it is in your thoughts that are holding you back, that are constrictive. I release the thoughts that. And release the thoughts that life hurts, no one loves me. I'll always be in pain. Release those thoughts and be specific. I release the thoughts that. And now invite the new feeling. So I invite love, or I invite joy, I invite vibrant health to incline me toward healing. Restore me to my newborn essence of love. And now ask for support. Ask God, the Holy Spirit, help me open a direct conscious relationship with my new higher self and gently remove the pain that has brought me here, the feelings, now claiming a new feeling. I now feel this joy, I now feel love, I now feel excitement, and I now feel vibrantly healthy. And because gratitude is one of the highest vibration and attractive factors in our lives, say, I am grateful for this opportunity to heal. I choose truth. I choose perfect love. And now as you've done this powerful work, capture your feeling of relief, release, capture the feeling of joy and love that you've claimed. And carry this feeling with you, not only throughout this day, this week, this month, this year, but throughout your entire life. Remember, as you transform your own life, you are transforming the world. And so it is. Amen.